Hi guys! I'm like a half minute early, so we'll just hang for a minute and just wait for a couple folks to come. Got on a little bit early, so but that's okay because that publisher, Facebook has a new live publisher thing and it's freaking me out. Hi Jess! Oh, I'm talking to you so much the last couple of days. Yay. So I just wanted to get in quick and give you guys a couple minutes to get on and come be part, hopefully with some questions. I know one of the biggest questions is when will we get out of quarantine? And you know what? There's not a simple answer because we're such a big country with so many different hotspots. So I want to say that by the end of this month, and this is what I've been saying for a while, that by the end of April, things are going to look a lot different, and we're going to have a much better idea of where we're going. And the problem really for me is that there are so many moving parts that even when I feel into this energy, it's like, I don't know if you are familiar with the Harry Potter movies, but when they go into Diagon Alley in the movie and they tap the brick and all the other bricks go and then it opens. It's a great graphic. It's a great visual effect that they did, but that's really kind of how I feel about it because our country is so big and so not unified. And I would feel a lot better about what I believe is going to happen if we had some unified leadership at the top of this pyramid, but we don't. So, it's very frustrating to me to listen to our leadership say it's up to the governors whether they close their states or not, but opening, that's up to me. And so not to spend too much time in the political with this, but hi Christine, hello my beautiful friends. But I do feel like by the end of April we're gonna have a much clearer idea, and I do think that we're gonna see. So for me, especially when I work psychically, where I feel is two roads, and I always hear that Robert Frost poem in my head, two roads diverged in the woods. And so when I work with people, when I work with my individual clients, I feel into the energy that's going on with them, and I feel into one of those rotaries in the road. And each road that goes off the rotary is a different aspect of their life, and in each direction there are two lanes, right? Like you would have one coming and going. For me, both lanes are going away from the center of where we are right now, and so the center of that rotary is now, and so both lanes go. And one lane you're going to have one potentiality, and in the other you have another potentiality. And so where I feel into that is I feel like that the states that have taken this seriously and have taken precautions and that are really moving forward are hitting the top of that curve, and they're going to be seeing the numbers come down, as we're already seeing in New York, and they're going to see that continue. And then there's going to be that wait for, let's make sure that the wave really passes us by before we open up too quick and have another wave that comes in. But at the same time, I feel like so if you have a big wave that comes in the ocean, it comes in and then it goes out and you feel safe and then it comes back in again. So I feel like the other states that have not taken, those same precautions and that are really being flippant about all this that's going on because it hasn't affected them yet, have a much greater potentiality for that wave to come back in and smack them up. So I think that we're not done yet. I know that we're not done yet, but I do feel like that a lot of things are moving in the right direction. The thing for me that really keeps coming back to me is when we go forward, what do we like? What do we want this to look like? Because we have a choice, and it does not necessarily have to wait until November. We can make decisions and choices on how we choose to live our lives going forward based on the things that we're learning during this quarantine period. Now, that also comes back to, are you stopping to learn anything during this quarantine period? And I think that that's really important too. is for me, I keep saying, well, if this is where we're at right now, I'm going to try and leave this quarantine better than when I came into it. So I'm literally reading like 4 books right now. I'm trying to catch up on online classes that I've registered for and paid for and never sat down to work through. Trying to exercise every day, every other day, something to really leave the quarantine better than I entered it, and to remind myself of the things that bring me joy, like reading, like crocheting, like spending time with my boys, the things that bring me joy that I have not been able to spend as much time doing because I was doing other things, which is not a bad thing, but it's that reshuffling of our priorities that we see already with, people who are, we're realizing, being away from our families and not being able to connect with loved ones. So one of the things I think is really, really important is, even though we're social distancing, physical distancing, we don't have to be social distancing. Hey, Jeff, we don't have to be separated from each other. We are physically separated, but mentally, and we can still be face to face. I mean, here you are, here I am. So we can still be face to face. And I think that that's so important, but it takes a little bit more effort. So it's a little bit more than just a text message. Hey, how you doing? To get online, to get an app that you can use on your phone or your computer or something, and say, hey, I'm just checking on you, and I care about you, and I want to know how you are, and I want to let you know I'm thinking about you. I think it takes a little bit more energy to do that, and I think that in the age of social media, we've become so accustomed to, what do you mean you didn't see my post? You don't know everything that's going on with me? Because people will tell you, oh, I know everything that's going on with you. You don't have to tell me what's going on because I saw it on Facebook. But then you have the flip side of that, which is, what do you mean you don't know what's going on? I put it on Facebook. And so I think that it becomes on us. It's always been on us. To reach out to people and let them know we're thinking about them, and we let them know that we care, and let them know that we're interested in what's going on with them beyond what they may have put on Facebook. Because if we've learned nothing in this age of social media, let's learn that not everything on Facebook is the truth. So I think it takes a little bit more energy for us to show the people around us that they're important and that we care, and to take the time to reach out. And so I think that that's something that's really, really important. And so as we move through this continued time of solitude and separation, we have the opportunity to really think about what we want our lives, not just our nation or our planet, but our lives to look like as we go forward. And so that's really what I was asking the cards today was what do we need to know to be able to go forward effectively and smartly and in a way that helps unite us with the universe? What do we need to know? So if you have questions, I'm so happy to offer some insight and whatever guidance I can tune into for you for the 30 minutes that we've got to be here, and to share the cards of the week this week. And I just shuffled. I'm just going to take them right off the top and grab them out. And so, of course, I'm literally shuffling them as I'm sitting here talking to you guys. So, of course, the first card says yes. That's probably backwards for you. But the first card says yes. And so I love this. This is, again, the Work Your Light Oracle card deck. I love this deck. Rebecca Campbell, she's awesome. I love this deck. It just really speaks to me, speaks to my heart. And so, of course, the first card says yes, which means for me is that everything that we're talking about, everything that we've just finished talking about is the truth, that we're on the right track. So that makes me super happy to be able to have that confirmation from the Oracle cards, to have that confirmation from the universe that what we're talking about is exactly the right thing. So hi, Terry Meisick. Hello, what a wonderful gift for me. So card number 2, Council of Light, and I do want to read what it says. It says, divine orchestration, helpers in the subtle realms. So I love this, you guys, because we think that there is, and I think I've talked about this before, I know I'm not supposed to touch my eyes, but I have an itch. we think that, you know, we look at things and we say, you know, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? But really the universe is happening for us. It's happening for us. And we've talked before, I think, and I'm always looking for something on my desk that I can use as a prop to show this, but there really isn't. We talk about the beautiful tapestry of our lives and the tapestry of the universe, where if you were looking at the front of a tapestry or a needle point or something like that, it's this beautiful image that's on the front of it. But if you look on the back of it, you've got stitches and threads and knots and all kinds of stuff going on. And so when we're thinking about the tapestry of the universe and the tapestry of our lives, then we're looking at the tapestry, we're looking at, but see, the angels and God and all of our loved ones in spirit and our guides, they're all looking down. They're looking at the tapestry. They've got the front of it. We've got the back of it. Okay, so we look up and we're like, what the heck are you guys doing up there? They've got the front of it. So, thank you, Terry. You're so sweet. So it's so important that we are remembering that we are guided by a council of light. We are not in this universe alone. We are not. There's just not a possibility that we are in this universe alone. There are so many of our loved ones, our angels, our guides, our spirit animals, God, the divine source, all of these things are there to help us, to guide us. We are absolutely not in this on our own. We are not by ourselves. And so it is so important that we allow that to permeate. And, you know, if you are having that image of God as the old guy with the beard and the thing, okay, that's fine. But allow your brain to expand maybe a little further out, because there's so much more that guides us than that image that was given to us by men long ago, right? There's so much more that guides us. The source of divine love is where we all come from. We all are born from that source of divine love. That is the seed of our souls, where we come into incarnation, into a human body. And we are not abandoned when we come here to Earth School. We're not. We come here to Earth School and we are guided by our council of divine love, our soul tribe. And some of those in our soul tribe, they come and incarnate with us. They come into our soul family. Like if you've ever met someone and you just felt this click with them, like, hey, my lights just flickered right when I said that. So if you've ever met someone and you've just felt that click with them, like you've just felt, Livy, I love you. You're following me all over today. I love it. But you've just felt that click with someone where you felt like you really connected, that, like on a soul level, like you've known this person for forever, even if you just maybe are meeting them right now, that you really have that connection. They are part of your soul family, your soul tribe, and they may have come here to incarnate at the same time that you have incarnated, to be a guidance system, to be part of your guidance, to be part of your education here on the planet. This is Earth School. Oh, Livy, I'm so glad you like that. But it is. We came here to learn things. We came here to experience things. But we did not get tossed off the island when we came here. We came here with so many threads attached still to the crown chakra and to the heart chakra. So we came here attached still with an umbilical cord still to the divine source of love and our counsel. So the counsel of light is absolutely real and guiding us in every single thing that we do. And so there we are in a really rough time right now in our nation and in our country. But there are those of us who have been talking about this divide for several years. I mean, when the last election, and we saw so much division that came from the last election, and people marching in the streets, and people ending friendships over political beliefs. We have been, people in my community have been talking for years about this rift that has been going and working between, hi Jen, between the light and the dark. And we've been seeing the rising of the light and the rising of the dark. Okay, so both sides are rising. And if you follow anything about the Schumann resonance, which is the energy signature of the earth, you'll know it is just pegged in both directions right now. But, and those of us who are more sensitive to energy, we can feel it go up and down. Kind of if you are more sensitive, you may feel more pull when you are, we're coming into the full moon, like this last full moon cycle we talked about a couple of days ago. Ooh, this last full moon cycle, that was rough, you guys. And if you are someone who feels that energy, you may be feeling that from the Schumann resonance, because there's like, shoom, shoom. Okay, so there's a lot of energy out there. But we have seen the rising of the light. So to keep it in analogies that you may be able to connect, W2. So we have seen the rising of the light over the last, 30 years, slowly climbing as we are evolving. Hi, Kevin! As we are evolving into this next iteration of humanity, this 5D humanity, we've seen the rising of the light, and the proof is, you've got people, turning more to yoga and meditation, and you've got someone who's the awesome Marianne Williamson, who was, known enough to even run for president and to have enough of a following. So many people were hearing and tuning in and resonating with what she said. A warrior of light, someone like Marianne Williamson, we love her. And then we have the rising of the dark, and there's a lot of people we can put in that, holding the staff with that one, but it's the rising of this fracture, because you have to have this rising to the breaking point. Okay, it's like boiling water. You turn the heat up, the water boils, and ultimately it's going to boil over. And then you make a change and you turn down the heat, or you take the pot off the stove. And this is where we are, you guys. My friends, this is where we are. We are in the boiling over. Okay, we are in the fracture. So we had the rising of the light. We have the rising of the dark. So the people who are in the rising of the light, we understand that this has been coming for a long time. Okay, we talk about how the government knew or didn't know the coronavirus was coming here. We all knew. Okay, we knew something else was coming. There was coming the breaking point. And the people who are trying to hold on to the status quo are holding on with both hands. They don't want to give up control. They don't want to change. They don't want to have anything be different from what they understand and what they feel secure in. And the rest of us are going, yeah, this was coming, because we as humanity have to shift. And you're seeing that. Mother Nature is seeing that, like, oh, they're shifting, they're doing something different, and they're coming in with the clear air and the fish and the dolphins and the birds. There's birds in my yard that I never had seen before. I live in Central Florida. We saw seagulls yesterday. I don't know what that was about, but we're seeing Mother Nature is trying quickly. I mean, in a month, 2 months, you guys, Mother Nature is trying to take back and to heal herself as we are finally stepping out of the way. And so this is our time, because this is the next step on humanity's evolution of where do we go from here, but knowing that we are so not alone. We are being led by the Council of Elders, the Council of Light, all of our guides and our loved ones and our angels, if we let them. Because here's the thing, our angels and our guides, they are there to help us, but they're not busybodies. They're not like your mother. They're not coming in to like tell you what to do unless you ask for them, So it is so important that we are staying connected, because here's where a lot of us have really felt a lot of, and manatees and bats, yes, and manatees and bats. Last week was a very rough week for our manatee community with losing our beloved Cassie. But so here's what I know. And cardinals, yay, cardinals. And so here's what I know is the more we can tune in to the light, and the more we can allow ourselves to shift. And I know a little bit I'm preaching to the choir here, because if you're following me on this page, you're awoke, right? You're aware of the light, and you may not understand all of it, but if you're following me and you're listening to me, then you're a little bit of awoke, like you are at least aware there's something else that's going on up there. And so it's so important for us to continue to move into the next phase of human development. And so for me, I have ascribed for a long time to this theory of human evolution through the chakra system. And so you can look at the last 100 years back into like the longer than the 100 years, into like the middle of the 1800s, into the start of the Industrial Revolution, and we were into the root chakra, building better buildings and machinery, and then getting into even before that into like in after that into like the 20s of getting into our solar sacral chakra and into our solar plexus chakra of who are we, who do we want to define ourselves, with the women, you know, getting the vote and wearing pants and getting jobs, and going in through again into the solar plexus chakra through the world wars, the time of the world wars of who are we, in the solar plexus chakra really is who are we, how do we define ourselves, and then coming out of that into the time of the heart in the love with the 60s and the 70s with, you know, the rock and roll and the love, and then coming into and also into the heart, coming into really the 90s. I have no explanation for the 80s, but we go into the 90s with that expression of self, into the grunge rock, and really of staying in that place of the heart of our truest expressions, and into the throat chakra. And we come into the throat chakra through the 90s, the 2000s, and even into today with the Me Too movement and the women standing up, and all these different organizations and marches and people saying they have had enough of what it is that's going on and they want something different. And so here we are in the time of the throat chakra. We have allowed ourselves to evolve. We have seen, as Louise Hay would say, you have to see the dirt before you can clean it. And so we have seen the dirt, and we are now rising up against it, and we are using our voices, whether it's on social media, whether it's in protest songs or marches, or in the ballot, in the voting booths. We are using our voice to declare the kind of humanity that we want as we go forward, because this is the great fracture. And I think as we move closer and closer to November, we're going to see, especially in this country, we're going to see that continuing to happen. We're seeing it in other countries. I mean, we've watched in Israel, they've had, what, 4 elections already? They cannot, they're still in the fracture. I think South Korea was voting today. There is this fracture that we are in right now. And so it becomes to us of what kind of humanity do we want to have as we go forward, because we're here in the time of that throat chakra. The next part, overindulged in the 80s. Okay, so that would be into the solar plexus and the heart chakra too, for sure. But so wait, hey Debbie, so as we are coming through the time of the throat chakra, and this is not done, we're not going to be done here, we're going to be here for a while, but as we move into through the time of the throat chakra, you know what's next? The Ajna, the third eye chakra, is what's next, which is the age of enlightenment. So we're getting there, we're getting there. And again, we talk about that rising of the light, where we've got people like Brene Brown and Marianne Williamson and Deepak Chopra and all of these amazing people who understand the power of the light that are becoming more and more mainstream. And when we clutch onto them and we support them and we bring their light with ours, we make those bigger ripples on the pond. We've talked about cavitation here before, where if I put my pebble in the pond and it rings out into the water, and Debbie puts her pebble in the pond right here, and that makes her ripples go out into the water. Our ripples are going to connect, and we're going to bounce off of each other and make even bigger ripples. Okay, so the cavitation is what's going on right now. Yeah, it is. Somebody said it was like the 70s, Libby. We've got the bushy haircuts, and nobody's putting on, you know, clothes they care about. We're like into the 70s again, and into the 60s. But this is that time of cavitation, of connection. So the more that we, even though we're in isolation, physical isolation, because I really hate that whole social distancing or social isolation, this is not isolation of our hearts and our minds. This is isolation of our bodies. Okay, and there's a very big difference. Okay, we are disconnected physically. We do not have to be disconnected from each other. That is a choice. Okay, and so it takes a little more effort to connect with each other right now, to reach out and pick up that phone instead of the text message or an email. It takes a little more effort, but it's so totally worth it. But this is the time. It is the age of Aquarius. It's quite literally the age of Aquarius, and the awakening. But this is the time for us to really choose to connect, especially for people that are in the light, people that know the light, that live in the light, that want to expand the light and build the light. this is the time for us to connect, make those connections, because we cavitate off of each other, and we're going to inadvertently bounce into that guy over there that doesn't know about the light. It's going to cavitate with kindness, with love, and he's going to be like, hey, what is going on over there? And he's going to get drawn into those ripples on the pond that we're creating. So it is about connection. It's not about social distancing. It's absolutely about social connection, and using our voices to connect, not just social media, but using our voices to connect. I know, Erin, every time I meditate, I keep thinking that somebody's going to start singing the song. So, okay, so then our third card, because I usually try and pick 3. Where are we right now? What's going on with all of that? And what's going to happen? Like, where are we going? Okay, so we have our first card is what are we doing right now? And yes, so if you didn't hear the first part of our video, we were talking about a lot of stuff, and the first card I pulled said yes. It was the complete confirmation of everything we were talking about. And then the next card that we picked was the Council of Elders and the Council of Light. And so this is that we are not alone. We are absolutely not alone in the universe. We are so protected and divinely guided if we will, third card, get grounded, stay grounded, and allow ourselves to hear. I literally, when I was in that half-wake state this morning, I literally heard it in my ear. I can't wait to talk to you. I was like, cool. Like, I was like the clearest voice in my head. And then I literally felt a hand on my elbow. I felt this hand on my elbow to like wake me up and say, it's time to come and talk to me. I was so delighted to spend some of that time in meditation, that quiet place, to really be connected, because clearly they were trying to talk to me. And I love that confirmation, you guys. But it's when we're quiet and when we're listening that we're able to, I'm sorry, I keep wiggling the camera because I'm looking at your comments. But when we are listening, when we're quiet and we can listen, we can get that divine guidance from our Council of Light, that our angels, our guides, our loved ones on the other side, our loved ones in spirit, they are there if we will allow them. And right now, I got to tell you, because there is so much movement, there are so many people leaving the planet, and there's so much movement between the body and the spirit right now, especially with Easter week, the Holy Week, and Passover right now. There is so much shifting between the body and the spirit right now that there is the veil is, it's not that it's thin. We have parts of, times of the year where the veil is thin, but they are singing with such unity on the other side that so many people are being able to finally connect with their loved ones. And I'm teaching a beginning mediumship class that's coming up soon. No hands on elbows. Well, spirit hands are okay, Erin. Spirit hands are okay. But we're going to teach, have a beginning mediumship class coming up. Now, that class is full, but we can set up another one if you're interested, because one of the things that was really impressed on me by one of my mentors, it was that even before the coronavirus, something like 25 million people leave the planet every year, and there are not enough mediums. So if you feel like you are kind of called toward that, or you have that ability and you want to learn more about it, send me a message, because there are not enough mediums, and we need to really get some more people trained up so that they can start having that communication, because these folks are lined up like, want to say the term is around the block, right? But that's a big ass block. These guys are waiting to connect with their loved ones. And it is so important that we are training up more mediums, because there is not enough of us who are doing this work that can be helping all of the people who are leaving the planet, who need to connect, and who've already left the planet, who are just waiting to connect in. Oh, Jen Steiner, I'm so excited to hear that, because I know you have those skills, and it would be so awesome for you to get some training with that. So our third card was getting grounded. Getting grounded. You guys spend some time outside. Get outside, get quiet, get your feet. Last week on Monday, the video I did on Monday, I actually walked you through a grounding ritual that I do, a grounding meditation. And you may be excited to know, I'm excited to say it, we are starting to work on a grounding meditation that will be available for download on my website. So it's probably about a month away, but I'm I'm so excited that we're going to be able to start offering some meditations on my website for download. But when you get outside, let the sun get on your face and let your feet touch into Mother Earth. Even if you're wearing shoes, it's better if you can be barefoot, but if you're wearing shoes, just feel the energy of Mother Earth. And you know me and the trees, so if you can put your hand on the tree, your non-dominant hand, so if you're lefty like me, it's your right hand, and just feel the energy of the tree and allow that to be this connection from the divine light down into Mother Earth, up into the tree, back into your heart, up the divine light, down into the earth, up into the tree, into your heart. Okay, and just allow for Mother Earth to cleanse you, to release anything that doesn't serve you, so that you stay in a high vibration, so that you can be more able to stay healthy and sane during these crazy times. Because if we are not grounded, then all of this craziness is going to get to us, and we are going to lose sight of this amazing opportunity that we have to continue to radically shift our society and shift our world as we continue to move through this process, because this is a cleansing and clearing, grounding process. This is the time where nature has says, you people need to ground. So everybody get home, get quiet, take some time, self-care. We as humanity do not take enough time. Oh, you like that too? Take enough time for self-care. And so this is really the time. So let me stop and take a couple of questions. If anybody has any questions, I will put Jen Steiner for the grounding meditation. Go back through this video of last Monday, and you will be able to see it. I walk you through that that grounding meditation. So it is one of my favorite to do, and we're going to get that recorded with some music behind it, and we're going to be able to make that available. Like I said, I think it's probably about a month away, but we're working on it. So. And I will put information about a beginning mediumship class if anyone is interested. We are going to start a mediumship circle. I need to post about that today. We are going to start a mediumship circle. It is going to be for guests and mediums to practice, and it is going to be part meditation, a little bit of discussion, and then we're going to bring some messages through for the people who are there. It's going to be a Zoom because I want to be able to get everybody connected, and we're going to start doing that on Wednesdays at 7. It is a pay to play, so I will post about that. And if you have questions, it's not going to be expensive, just like $5 a head. Just something that we can do. Come in as often as you want. Come each week, and just be part of it. If you are someone who is interested in learning more about mediumship, that's going to be a great place for you to hang out. It is not going to be a teaching circle. It's not going to be a substitute for mediumship classes. But so we've got 2 different things that are coming up. So the beginning mediumship class that I already have scheduled is full, but if you have an interest in, I'm happy to open up another beginning mediumship class. And then the meditation circle for developing those skills and continuing to practice. And so that's going to be open for mediums who are learning and that want to practice, but also for people who may want to get messages through as well. So that's going to be open for everyone. So those are 2 things that are coming up. So our first mediumship circle is going to be this Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern time, and I will post about that. And not an expensive thing to participate in, and the mediumship development class, obviously that's a little bit more money. So, but if you have questions or if you have comments about that, let me know. I'm so happy to help with any of that. And we're looking for, yeah, maybe you're excited about that. So my lights are going flicker, flicker. So, so just to remind and review, we are on the right track, you guys, my friends. I'm really trying to get out of the habit of saying you guys. So my friends, we are on the right track. My friends, we are on the right track. So this is so important that we understand that the universe is paying attention. The universe is watching what we're doing, is watching what's going on with us, and we are absolutely on the right track. And we are not alone. We are so not alone. We are so guided every day with the Council of Light. We are every day guided with the counsel of light. And so that is our loved ones, our angels, our spirit guides, the divine love, the divine light, all of it. We are guided every single day. And also in your Akashic records, your record keepers are watching and they're guiding you as well. So we are not alone. If you ever feel like you are alone in this world, please come back and watch this video or message me, because I promise you we're not alone. And then, of course, the most important to keep our sanity, to keep our mental health while we're dealing with the crisis situation, is to stay grounded and to spend some time in meditation and just some breathing. If you're not sure how to meditate, let me just say that meditation is just focused breathing. And so many people, they get in like, I can't meditate because they can't turn off the brain. You know what? That is not the point of meditation, is not to turn off the brain. The point of meditation is to focus on your breath, and the brain will turn itself off eventually. It's a muscle, just like anything else, and it learns with practice. Just like if you started to do a whole bunch of push-ups, you probably couldn't do as many today as you might be able to do next week if you were consistent with it. It is a muscle. The brain is a muscle, and the more we are using it, and the more we're teaching it that it is okay to get quiet and listen, the more we will be able to hear. So if you can, just set a timer on your phone for 5 minutes, sit comfortably with your feet on the floor, and breathe into and out 4, and into and out 4. And if that is all you are doing, it is a fantastic place to start. And I'm telling you, you will feel so much better, and you will feel more grounded, and you will get those images, and you will, if you will allow it, you will get some guidance coming through. Just focus on your breath. And instead of looking at what you can't do with meditation or what you think you're doing wrong, just breathe. I want to thank you so much for spending some time with me today. It was such an absolute honor to spend time with you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for being part of our community of light. I am here to help. If there's something I can do to support you through this journey, please do not hesitate to reach out and text, email, message, whatever works for you. And I will be posting information as soon as we're finished here. I will post the information about our mediumship circle on Wednesday night, this Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. And then we will also be able to talk more about the beginning mediumship classes. If there is enough interest, we will be able to start another class, because the first class I have is already full. Okay, have a great week, you guys. My friends, have a great week. Thanks for spending some time. Stay in the light.